Okay, hey everybody, we're here. It's Isabelle teaching, Jessica keeps on the machine. We'll get started at 1 or 2 light springs. 2 is going to be a little more supportive, 1 will be a little more challenging. We'll get started in a high plank hold. That's it. You'll put your hands on the front platform and have your feet at the number 3. Just hold and feel your body. Take that softness in your knees and your elbows just a little bit, and then lift at the back of your hips a smidge to catch your low abs. We'll hold for 10 more seconds. This turns into a plank to pike. Hips hike towards the ceiling in 4, in 3. Plank to pike 2, and 1. Hike your hips up, 2, 3, 4. Good. And then press into your heels towards the back of the machine for 4 counts. Awesome. All right, so while you're doing this, you kind of get creative with your hand placement in order for it to feel most sustainable on your wrist. So if you'd like to wrap your hands around the edges of the platform in any way, that may feel good. Now, as you continue this, keep a little bit of give in your knees. And if at any point this starts to feel like a really juicy hamstring stretch, explore that. We'll be here a little bit longer. When you do hike your hips up, keep your thighs hugged towards each other. Press into the knuckles of your hands, and then on this extension, feel how your hips come down just to the line of your shoulders. We'll be off of your hands for a little bit. Awesome. In about 10 seconds, we'll meet in a kneeling forearm plank hold. Holds are a great opportunity to just reset your alignment. We'll take a kneeling forearm plank hold in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, bring your forearms to the platform, knees just behind the eyelets on the carriage. So in your kneeling forearm plank hold, squeeze around your glute muscles, pull your front hip bones towards your rib bones, looking good. Awesome, fill the space between your shoulders. This becomes a saw in 8 seconds. You'll glide your shoulders back behind your elbows in 3, in 2, and 1. Saw, press your shoulders out over the well. Just until you feel the catch at the top of your abs, and then bring your shoulders right back over top of your elbows. There we go. All right, so it's easy to misconstrue this range of motion as some maximum extension in your shoulders. The smaller you make it, the more efficient it feels at the top of your abs. Right, low abs are really easy to focus on. Upper abs, not so much, at least in my experience. This becomes a kneeling crunch in a little over 12 seconds. It's good. Before we get to the crunch, be mindful of the length in your neck. Roll your shoulders back to your ribcage. Ooh, nice. Hey, 8 seconds left. Kneeling crunch. You'll stack your shoulders over your elbows in 4, in 3, kneeling crunch in 2, and 1. Stack your shoulders over your elbows. Pull your knees underneath your hips. Yeah. Awesome. Press into your shins and your forearms, the entirety of your shins and your forearms, to take a little bit less pressure out of your knees and your elbows. I'm pretty sure that wasn't grammatically correct, but I think you get my gist. Cool, so your triceps, the muscles behind your arms, kind of by your armpit, feel those muscles rotate towards your rib cage as you press into your forearms. Give you some upper body involvement before we even get near arms. Good, we'll stay on your knees. Your countdown is taking you into a wheelbarrow. So much like the saw, it's stable hips, it's shoulder mobility in a small way. So when we get to your countdown, your hands will hit the foam rollers. If your machine does not have foam rollers, you can just grab around the platform, lips, anywhere. In 12 seconds, your wheelbarrow means your hands are coming to the platform somehow, right? Your shoulders pull back behind your wrists. In 8 seconds, wheelbarrow, knees stay, hands pop to the platform in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, put your hands either at the foam rolling handlebars or somewhere where you can grip, wherever feels most natural for you, yes. Flight attendant Jess, bring your shoulders back behind your wrists to press the carriage open in your wheelbarrow. Awesome. All right, so this looks similar to saw. What makes it different from saw is the range of motion that you're now capable of. Right? Your arms are longer so your body can go further. As always, just because it can doesn't necessarily mean that it should. So continue to Squeeze invisible pennies between your armpits and your ribs to keep your upper body really secured and intentional. That all these deep cardiac muscles should start to feel a little bit achy and sore in an empowering way. You'll pull your tailbone towards your heels, your front hip bones up, so you're keeping that same abdominal engagement in order to secure your low spine, your lumbar spine. We're finishing out your opening ab series in a catfish. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, hands at the high handlebars, feet step to the number 3. We'll first check in with your body before we go. In 6 seconds, catfish, hands at the high handlebars. In 3, 2, catfish. In 1, step your feet to the number 3. Have your hands on the high handlebars. Pull, track your chest over the platform, then rotate your shoulders back, and then press your heels towards the back of the machine. Awesome. So, and then, pull your knees underneath your hips. It's important, at least the intention of this movement today is to keep your hips stable and in line with your shoulders. So you could balance your favorite cup of water right at the base of your spine. And you know that you do have a favorite cup of water because the sink water tastes different in the kitchen and the bathroom, right? So to keep your hips lifted up on this extension, when you do start to press your heels back, lift your heels up, pull up to the back of your thighs, and notice your natural stopping point there. Yes. Cool. We'll get jiggy with your legs shortly. You're starting in your left leg. Left will hit the front platform, right foot stays there on the carriage. We'll start in an elevator lunge hold. In 5. Easy peasy, right? Give me 4. Left foot hits the front platform in 3, in 2, and 1. Go ahead, step your left foot through to the front platform. Just hold for a moment. Press to the knuckle of your left big toe. Fan your left pinky toe out wide, and then pull your left hip back. Good, we're going right into an elevator lunge, so you'll drag your left heel towards your right toes to rise. Ooh, in 5, we go into it. In 4, elevator lunge. In 3, 2, and 1. Press to your left heel, rise. Up, 2, 3, 4. Good, take it out. 2, 3, and 4. Bad. Awesome. Good, good. So at any point, if you'd like to have your hands hang to your side, recently, relatively recently, I've been cueing to let your hands dangle because 1, what do you do with your hands otherwise? You can do the Macarena, or put them behind your head, across your heart, up overhead, that one's up to you. I like to have my hands dangle so that I can feel like a natural stopping point. If you have more open hips, it might be nice to give yourself like a bumper so you're not going too far. Okay, when you overcommit in this movement, it strains your right hip flexor, it overwhelms your inner thighs and puts pressure on your lower back. And since we might be sitting often, that pressure is unnecessary. Get enough of it daily, right? We're just about halfway there. So now, having talked about all the misalignments, let's talk about the alignments, right? You continue to pull up through your right heel, lift through the back of your right thigh, and if you have looked at the screen, you'll notice just takes a moment to check in with your hips. So your right hip and your left hip stay horizontal. The muscles between your front hip bones, they hug inwards, sort of like a hearty belly laugh to continue to support your spine. This is going right into a carriage kick in your countdown, so your hands will come onto the handlebars when we get there. Left knee stays stacked over your left heel and your right leg is driving the movement. You have 12 more seconds. Look at how time flies when you're having a really great time. This is becoming a carriage kick. In 8 seconds, you sit back into the lunge in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause for your lunge. Pull your right knee underneath your right hip to go right into your carriage kick. Cool. All right, great. So you keep your left knee stacked. Yes, your right leg is moving, but your right leg really serves as a bit of a distraction from the power building in your left thigh. So let's tune back into your left thigh. Yes, handlebars as much as you need them, as little as possible, but really whatever you gotta do, you do. You keep your left hip lifted up, roll your shoulders back, and get a little jazzy at the top of your left thigh so it should feel a bit more ignited. Squeeze your thighs while you go to build some added resistance. We'll here for a good time, not that long of a time. So we will be taking a quarter turn to the right in a short bit. You get a really fun opportunity to take a peek at Jess's cute face. She'll be going into a standing air dive soon enough. You'll take a quarter turn towards the right side of your room. Left foot stays to the platform, right foot stays to the carriage. Your standing air dive is in just over 10 seconds. Yeah, hey, check in, make sure you're breathing. You take your turn in 5, standing inner thighs in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn and face the right side of your room. Keep your feet located as they are, and then standing inner thigh, bring it out. Open up wide. Hands can do the Macarena again. They can sit at your hips to ensure that your hips are stable and in their most neutral position. Cool. Keep your knees soft. And continue to press into the ball mound of your big toes for like leverage, right? So you'll hear neutral hips, and if this is not your first online workout, you might have heard it before too. I would like to just point out that all of us have a natural flare in our low back. So it's not tucking your butt under like a cowboy. Think more pulling your front hips up right until you feel your abs, your core lock in a secure position. And then if you feel like your back still kind of flares, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? How you are is you, so you be you. We are going for a spring change, so we'll have a really good time in that transition together. We'll go through it. When you get to your countdown, we'll get heavy with the load. So some of you might have different colored springs. You'll have 1 heavy spring, 1 light spring. If you'd like to level up, it'll be 1 heavy, 2 light springs. But we'll talk about it when we get there. When we get there, you're starting out in a donkey kick. So you will come down to the carriage, change your springs, and stay at a tabletop on the carriage. Left leg still your driver. You have 10 more seconds left. How cool. 1 heavy spring, 1 light spring. We'll talk about amplifications. You go into your donkey kick in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, come on down, close the carriage. 1 heavy, 1 light. If you'd like to level up, 1 heavy, 2 light. You'll put your left heel at the curved handlebar. You'll put your right foot in an eyelet if you have it. Hands are on the back of the carriage, and then press into your left heel to extend your left leg. So there was a lot of cues to get you into it. If you'd like to take a little look-see at Jess, you're in a tabletop dog at fire hydrant type position. Being on your hands, if you're anything like me, is wildly uncomfortable and sort of detracts from where your focal point should be, your left leg. If that's the case for you, you can use the right sides of your fists as a brace or come down to your forearms to come out of your shoulders altogether, or for the most part. Now, if you're shiggity shook at this point, you can also take an opportunity to press into your left heel, extend your left leg, and almost feel a bit of a stretch. For a little bit of alternate focal points, you'll track your right hip over your right knee. And if you need to slide your right knee towards the right a little more, you can as well. Personal preference. Now, if you are staying on your hands, check in that you're not locking out your elbows, so you're feeling a little more upper body awareness instead of just collapsing into your bones. It is normal to collapse into your bones. After all, your bones are there to support you. Now, if you are maximizing your alignment, you might be shiggity shook next level. If you might see, Jess has her good vibrations going on through her left toes. I'll get you out of this, I promise. It's all continuity. We'll be popping up and taking a quarter turn, not a quarter turn, a full 180 turn. It doesn't matter. We're going into a runner's lunge. That's where I'm taking you, yeah. All those words, but guess what? You got 12 more seconds, so at least the finish line is in sight. Keeping your springs, you'll put your left foot under the platform strap and your right foot in this front right eyelet. We go in 5, runner's lunge, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hop up, turn around, put your left foot under the platform strap, big turn, yes. Put your right foot in the front right eyelet. Okay, start in 2 90-degree angles. Great. Stack your bones and then press your right heel towards the back of the machine to extend your right leg. So it's like a carriage kick, but heavier. Much like the carriage kick, your left leg is still the focus. Because of the spring change, because of what's going on with the carriage, your right leg might get a bit of attention. And that's not wrong, it's just not your focal point, right? It comes secondary. If you do not have a strap on your machine, that's totally fine, all wonderful. Just feel the connection points at the center of your left heel, the center of your left big toe, and then fan your toes down so it's like you're grabbing the platform with your left foot, like you're palming a basketball. I highly encourage you to use the handlebars. I love using the handlebars for this because it is not a carriage kick. You could actually press into the handlebars and get some upper body stuff going on with that. But it's not necessary, right? Jess, when she had her hands light on the handlebars, she kept her hips squared and was focusing on stabilizing her left leg, which is really important. Now, if you're looking for some added razzle dazzle, through your left hamstring, shorten the distance of your right leg's movement. Keep your right hip lifted up. You'll be popping out of your legs, so that's good. You're coming down into a flying mega high plank hold. You'll step your feet to the back eyelets of the carriage. You'll put your hands on the high handlebars. Again, if you don't have eyelets, I'll give you an opportunity to customize for more support. Last 12 seconds. You'll put your hands on the curved handlebars, your feet in the back eyelets. We'll talk through some customizations. We go for that high plank in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and put your hands on the curved handlebars. Step your feet to the back eyelets. So if you do not have eyelets, just feel free to drop down to your knees. We will be going into a push-up anyway, so knees is recommended. In 10 seconds, you can put your knees down. Wide arm heavy push-up in 4, 3, 2, and 1. So hey, knees come down if you're feeling it. Yes, bring your chest to the space between your thumbs and press up. So the really cool thing about this push-up is on the lower portion of it, you feel your abs catch, yeah, I saw that. And then when you press away, you squeeze your chest muscles, your pec muscles. As this happens, if you choose to keep your knees lifted, be mindful that your whole spine stays in one line. So your head stays in track with your shoulders instead of dropping low. Oftentimes we think that if our head drops, it means we've done the push-up, but the push-up comes from your arms and your chest. There's no shade, it's just an alignment cue for spinal security. And if you'd rather not stay flying, you can always come back down. Now then you do you, boo, right? You make it last the way it serves you best. Guys, we're going to do a spring change. We'll go back to your light spring load. We'll get your right leg going. That spring change comes up in just over 10 seconds. So 1 light spring, no heavy springs, 2 light springs for support. We'll talk through it. In 5, we start in that elevator lunge hold. In 3, in 2, and 1. So either 1 light spring or 2 light springs, no heavy springs. Right foot hits the front platform, left foot on the carriage. Start in a hold just to set your base. Good. With your hold, feel the difference side to side. You might feel a little stronger in your right leg. Good. We're going into your elevator lunge in just over 10 seconds. We rise nice and slow, nice and controlled. That elevator lunge is hitting you in 3, 2, and 1. Press to your right heel, run it up. 2, 3, and 4. Good. Bring it back. Right on into the lunge out of 4 count. Yep. So sort of just to circle back to where we were on the other leg, when you did this, hip stability is vital. And just because your hips can do it doesn't mean they should do it. Feel your natural stopping point, yeah. Sometimes hip adjustment feels a little arduous, but you can just imagine your Shakira, right? Slide your hips right into place where they belong, because hips don't lie, and then rise right back into it. Check in with what you're doing with your upper body. Hand placement is a personal preference, so that's really up to you, whatever feels most organic in your practice. I will say this is a bit of a balance challenge. It might be an introductory balance challenge, but it's a challenge nonetheless. If you're feeling a little wobbly on this right foot, spread your right toes out, press the center of your right big toe down. Transitions go right into the carriage kick when we get there. You're over halfway there. So in the last leg of this range of motion, lift through the back of your left thigh. Feel that added support, give you some more sustainability, whatever the word is, in your right leg. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to start counting down. Less than 10 seconds. You go into your carriage kicks. Hands to the handlebars, right leg bent. In 5. Carriage kicks 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your right leg. Hands come down. Bend your left knee underneath your left hip for your carriage kick. Sweet. I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge that though you are just starting out on your right leg, you've been through quite a bit in your lower extremities as a collective. So if having a little bit more pressure on the handlebars feels good, take it, right? This practice is supposed to be enjoyable, so let it be satisfying and encouraging. Keep your right hip lifted up, like your right hip back. Good, now while you do have this movement, your left leg might start to take control. It's moving, but your right leg's in control, so it keeps you steady and static. So this will become a quarter turn to the left. We'll go right back into a standing inner thigh. The standing inner thigh will get a little bit fun and exciting on this side. Nothing too crazy, so just trust the process. Last 12 seconds. You'll take a quarter turn to the left, facing towards the left side of your room. Feet stay on the machine as they are. In 6 seconds, standing inner thigh. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take your quarter turn to the left. Yeah, there you go. Resituate, resettle in. Just your standard standing inner thigh. Hips come out again. So you get a little outer thigh loaded by taking that extension, and then you sort of energetically reach down and pull up through your inner thighs all the way to the crown of your head. Spinal security is important, so as long as you're feeling the muscles around your abdomen, sort of like your corset, hug and keep everything really stable, everything else will sort of fall into place. If you feel like it's not falling into place, come down to your base. Start at your big toes, pull them towards each other so your thighs rotate inwards. Lift up through your sternum, your chest plate sort of, to keep you uplifted. Yes, your shoulders are not curling forward. At least more than they naturally do. That happens. In 10 seconds, we'll start in a hold, into a hold, rather. It's an extended hold, so in 5 seconds, bring your hips out over the well. In 3, we hold 2, and 1, bring it out for a hold. Feel your inner thighs lift you. Tilt your tailbone towards the floor, lift your front hip bones up. We go back to full range in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, bring it in. Pull up to the top of your head. It's nothing too tricky. Just a sec to check in. Cool, let's get heavy again. Your countdown will be taking you into that 1 heavy spring, 1 light spring, unless you choose 2 light springs for your advancement. Tabletop for that donkey kick in 10 seconds. Spring change as you choose. 1 heavy is required. And you have 5. Right leg donkey kick in 3, 2, and 1. Come on down to your tabletop. Find 1 heavy, 1 light. 2 light is going to be your challenge load. Right heel comes to the curved handlebar like you're a dog at a fire hydrant. Slide your left knee towards the left a little more to give you some more outer left thigh stability. Hands are a personal preference, so if your wrists are getting overwhelmed, come to your forearms. Awesome. A little bit of softening in your elbows feels your triceps light up. And then we say lift your right knee up, but that lift of your right knee is sort of an energetic lift. So if you're lifting so high that you're Charlie horsing on your outer right thigh, tilt your right big toe down a little bit. Awesome. Donkey kicks, wonderful, because yes, your right leg is working. That is undeniable. You're also getting some outer left thigh stability. And then you notice what's happening in your spine, right? Your back might cave a little bit, but you can feel when it's caved too much. So if it feels sort of like your spine bones are compressing right where your hips and your ribs are, you've caved a little too much. Pull your belly button up into the ceiling. Try that. Because you're well on your way, and you're probably feeling really strong and super empowered, it might feel good to slide your wrist out from under your shoulders. Please avoid that. That's going to actually deactivate some vital stabilizing muscles. For what it's worth, you aren't done with your leg stuff in your next countdown, but transitioning into the runner's lunge. You still have a leg thing, it's just not as much left, right? It's the last one. Now I'm rambling, everybody. If you know me, you know. You have just over 12 seconds. Runner's lunge is like your carriage kick. Right foot hits the platform under the strap. Left foot hits the front left eyelid. In 8 seconds, you hop up, you turn it around. Runner's lunge in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hop up, turn around. Glide your right foot under the platform strap. Put your left foot in the front left eyelid. Have the 90-degree bends in your legs. Yep. Extend your left heel back so your left leg extends. And then again, handlebars, do what you do with that. You're going to be your own individual. You already are, so it's not like you're going to be. As a result, having your hands light on the handlebar might actually feel better on your right thigh. From personal experience, for me, I press into the handlebars so that I'm giving my right leg its longevity. That's personal. All I ask is that if your hands are light, if you're using the power of your right thigh to that next level, you be sure that your right knee stays traced over your right heel. Because otherwise you start to muscle through with your left leg. And it's been a while, but your left leg has accomplished a lot, so I'd like to remind you of that. Cool. We will be stepping back. We get a little more heavy upper body by way of a chest press. So no hold your transition when we get there. You'll step back. Your feet will hit the back eyelids. Your knees will hit the middle red line or the middle line on the carriage. Before we get there, check in with what's going on with your hips. Think about your hips like a bowl of cereal. It's Fruit Loops, it's Wheaties, I don't know, your favorite cereal. Pull your front hip bones up in a way that then keeps the cereal right in the bowl as best as possible. Yeah, you might feel your hips sink a bit. Great. You are well on your way. The chest press is coming up. When we get to the chest press, knees hit the middle line on the carriage, feet hit the back eyelids, your hands hit the curved handlebars with your elbows out nice and wide. We'll talk through it together. Last 12 seconds is good. Stay just as strong now as you began. Remember, you have accomplished a lot. So in 8 seconds, we are finishing out the heavy load with some arm work. In 4, chest press. In 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, step back with your feet in the back eyelids, hands at the curved handlebars, elbows come out wide. Press your hips towards the front of the carriage and then press the carriage away from the platform. Awesome, beautiful demo. Begin to pull your shoulder blades towards each other, bend your elbows so that your chest fills the space between your thumbs a little. Yeah. Awesome, and then press to expand. So I'll be really honest, I still have a very complex relationship with this move, which is why I cue it, but in practice it doesn't sound as seamless. Think about this like a lat pull down, but reverse. So when you bring your chest to the space between your thumbs, feel your lats engage to keep it really stable. And when you press away, it's going to feel super heavy. Breathe, right? Exhale the exertion. You're done with your heavy stuff in your countdown. That heavy spring is coming off. You'll keep one leg spring. Again, 2 leg springs for support. We'll start going into obliques. We'll start your obliques low in a twisted forearm plank hold, so hang tight. It is less than 10 seconds, so you good, you strong. Heavy's coming down. 1 leg spring, maybe 2 for support in 5. Twisted forearm plank hold in 3, 2, and 1. So at least 1 leg spring, no heavy spring. You're starting on your left oblique, so your left knee will hit that front right eyelid. If that's kind of confusing, just point your knee bones the direction of your right elbow. Peel your right hip back. Fill the space between your shoulders. Awesome. We'll be taking this into a kneeling oblique crunch. Think about pulling your right hip towards the ceiling in 8 seconds. Kneeling oblique crunch in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift your right hip up. Pull your knees towards your elbows. Yeah. Awesome. As a result of your hips being in rotation, you might not pull your knees in as far as you think you should. That is okay. With love and support, you feel where your body is asking you to stop, and that is where you stop. So you're not compressing your vertebra or doing that really uncomfortable thing where your ribs and your hips connect. For a little bit of leverage, for something to start with, if you're looking for it, or if you're just feeling it a lot in your elbows, you can wrap your hands around the platform for a little bit of leverage, yeah. This goes into a saw. So right now your hips lift up, and then you press through your left oblique to bring your hips back down. Your next time down, your hips stay, your shoulders slide out over the well. You have just over 12 seconds. Right now, you should feel this right above your left hip bone, but your next 8 seconds in the twisted saw, you'll feel it in your upper left oblique. Twisted saw in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause with the carriage just where it is, and then bring your shoulders out over the well. You might feel a little sweaty. It's a great opportunity to air out your hips, and then bring it right back in. Okay, so if you have expectations for the distance that you travel when you do this, let those expectations go. Just feel, surrender to the sensation. It might sound cheesy, but your hips in rotation do not make the same shape as your hips squared. It's a safety measure. I would challenge you in this last half, because obliques are so short, right? This last half of this twisted saw, pause for just a beat on your extension to feel your upper oblique catch you. And then go ahead, back in with that same carry. Almost like your oblique is pulling towards your thumbs. Or your obliques, both layers, if you want to get technical. But we won't do that today. We already did it. Right. We'll go into a side plank. Right hands come up. That hold is your chance to check in to catch your breather. In 5, right hand comes up, side plank in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead, reach your right arm up. Feel out your left hand, placing your left arm. Do what feels right for you. Just instead of feeling your left shoulder, reach up with your right rib. We come up to your hands into a high plank in your next 10 seconds. Hands at the platform, feet hit the 3, high plank hold in 5, in 4, 3, high plank hold 2, and 1. Put your hands on the platform if you're at the 3. We are finishing out hands here, I'll say that. Wrap your thighs towards each other, single-sided there. Your knees will pull towards your right elbow. In 5, you'll rotate your hips in 4, twisted bear in 3, 2, and 1. Pull your knees towards your right elbow, bring them in, then 2, 3, and 4, up, yes. And then press on out. Lovely. So this is a lot like patting your head and rubbing your belly. Yes, your hips are moving in one direction. Single-sided bear means just your left oblique is doing the pulling. Patting your head and rubbing your belly because you've got all sorts of space to destabilize. Focus on how soft your elbows are, how secure your shoulders are, and then feel the mirror in your legs. So feel your knees sort of collapse as you pull your knees in, and then wrap your hip bones. Awesome, we finish out your left oblique in a single-sided catfish, so like this but higher. You're getting out of the superficial layer of your obliques. It'll feel like a bit deeper, you'll see. We'll get there together in 10 more seconds. Hands at the high handlebars, heels stay together. Single-sided catfish in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your hands to the high handlebars. Heels together, heels high, hips rotate towards your right elbow. So when you bring the carriage in, you'll feel your tailbone go towards your left elbow, right? And then you'll press back out. Handsy, yes. Handsy, but it shouldn't feel necky or shouldery. What I mean is roll your shoulders back, pull the top of your head towards the front of the room you're in. Front is ambiguous, but I think you get what I mean. We'll be down off your hands and your feet soon. So the more small, the more minute this move gets, the deeper you'll feel it because of the amount of control that you sustain over that same 4-count period. We'll have your right oblique popping off, starting in a twisted forearm plank hold in just over 10 seconds. You'll put your forearms on the platform, you'll put your right knee on the carriage with your left knee on top of it. In 5 seconds, twisted forearm plank hold in 3, 2, and 1. Right oblique, bring your forearms down. Point your knees towards your left elbow and just hold for a moment. Feel it, check in. Pull your right hip just a little bit away from your right rib. See what that feels like. Kneeling over crunch, you'll lift your right hip in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift your left hip. Good, crunch in. And then crunch on out. Yep. All right. Without getting too juicy in the details about the way your spine articulates, just be mindful that having this hip rotation, the way it rotates your lower back, is kind of vulnerable. So the more intentional this movement, the slower you go, the more you can feel every piece of the range of motion. Well, good job. As a team, if you are tuned in, do me a favor, take a deep breath in. And then on this extension, take a full breath out. A sigh of relief. We take this right into a twisted saw. So hips wrapped, glutes squeeze, thighs hug, shoulders press back. Last 12 seconds. Twisted saw so that your upper right oblique gets some attention. Right around your rib cage, you have 8 seconds. Twisted saw in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep your hips where they are. Press your shoulders back. 2, 3, and 4. Awesome. The bones of our neck are nice and delicate. There's all sorts of muscles that work to keep our heads where they are. The ratio of spine to skull is funny and in engineering just weird and wacky. So it might feel good to sort of crunch your neck. Please roll your shoulders back. All that to say, relax your shoulders, relax your neck. For whatever value it holds, you made it through a lot of this. Add the sauce, add the layer by taking your paws with your shoulders out over the well. This is transitioning into a side plank in a short bit, so level up somehow. Even if that level up means that you're realigning. Last 10 seconds, look at that. Left hands reach towards the ceiling. You're in your side plank in 5. In 4, side plank, left hands come up in 3, 2, and 1. Side plank, reach your left arm up. Awesome. Carve out your right hip, squeeze your glutes. Pull your left hip over your right hip, roll your left shoulder down. In 10 seconds, high plank to hold to reset through your spine in 5. High plank, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Put your hands on the platform. Feet are at the 3. Abbreviated plank, if you will. Single-sided bear in less than 10 seconds. Knees now pull towards your left elbow in 4 and 3. 2. Single-sided bear in 1. Bring your knees towards your left elbow. Yeah. If your hands are feeling this, I get you. Spread your fingers out wide. Press to the base of your knuckles. If you are really aware of your bones, I really feel you. Roll your shoulders back, fill the space between your shoulders, and grab onto something with your hands so you feel secure. The rotation in your hips could be almost invisible. Hip mobility has an effect on this. Keep your shoulders square, soften your elbows. Now, my friends, the last bit of your right oblique is looking like your single-sided catfish. Let it be what you need it to be. Let it be intensity, let it be a breath of fresh air. In 12 seconds, hands hit the high handlebars, feet stay. Same idea, just a little bit higher altitude. You've got 6 seconds. Single-sided catfish in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring your hands to the high handlebars. Keep your chest traced over this front platform. Keep your hips lifted, and then keep your heel back. Ooh, nice. Press down. 2, 3, 4. Pull your knees to your left elbow. 2, yeah, 3, good. 4, bring it back. If your spine is anything like my spine, the rotation matters less. Because if you rotate too far, you might feel a little fun, tweaky twinge that lasts for weeks. You challenge your limits, you play your edge within reason. Pull your shoulders, yeah, back. Squeeze an invisible penny between your armpits for some added razzle dazzle, and you'll be out of your shoulders moving for a little bit. So when we set up arms in your next 12 seconds, we'll do arms facing the front of the room, the front of the machine, 2 to 3 light springs. In 5, you're grabbing your block cables or your hand straps. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. So while you change your springs, we're going to start and insert the platter hold. So 2 to 3 light springs, hands hit the hand straps, face the front platform. It'll be funky to get there, but your feet in the back eyelets. Have your elbows at 90 degrees, like you're squeezing a penny in your armpits. Good. Pull your front hip bones up, squeeze your cheeks, both cheeks, sure, why not? And then roll your shoulders back. Serve the platter. You press into the cables in 5. Yeah, feel your biceps. 4, serve the platter in 3, 2, and 1. Press into the hand straps, reach up and forward. Awesome. All right, just with the lines, so if you know, breathe, know. If you don't know, take a peek and just check in. Right? Notice how when she pulls the cables up, her wrists line up with her shoulders, no higher. So mechanically, you should feel this in your chest, the front of your shoulder muscles, so your anterior delts, and then your biceps. If you're feeling this around the back of your armpit, you might be pulling the cables back a little too far, or up a little too high. Right? You find your own Goldilocks zone, and hey, if being up on your knees like this is dissatisfying, take a seat on your heels. Right? You've done enough abs and legs. For the added razzle dazzle, you'll pull your elbows kind of inwards for a little bit more triceps, but it's not necessary. So we will be bringing it up to a hold with your wrist in line and your shoulders in line with your shoulders. You got 12 seconds. Yeah, it's really easy to carry this around your neck. I know, give yourself the time you need. You have 8 seconds until we go for the hold. In 5, we bring it up. In 4, 3, hold it up. 2, and 1, bring it up, hold. Cool, take the opportunity, roll your shoulders back. Squeeze your ribs towards your hips. We are going into a tree hugger. In 10, palms turn in, thumbs go up, elbows lift up. In 5, 4, 3, tree hugger, 2, and 1. Turn your palms in, thumbs up for positive affirmation, or not, but you get it energetically. It's kind of logistically not possible, but you get it. Tree hugger, I'll tell you today, it's just the intermission. Here for a good time, not a long time, so your chest muscles hug, your front abs re-wrap. This next 12 seconds, see, transitional. Shoulder press, elbows go wide, still push your arms, shoulders come back, shoulder press in 5. In 4, take your elbows out wide in 3, 2, and 1. Take your elbows out wide, good press up. There it goes. Good, readjust, reassimilate. So tree hugger is really interesting in your chest and the way your spine is responsive, so I try not to keep you there that long. In your shoulder press, now that you've had a little bit of that lower range of motion, this is the higher range of motion, right through the top of your shoulders. Be mindful that though that's where the energy is starting, you take it all the way down to your low abs to keep you secure and supported. I saw that. Awesome. Shoulder mobility is a factor, so if you feel like you can take your elbows a little bit wider without sacrificing your spinal security, go for it. We are finishing out your cable arm work with the tricep extension. Awesome. Take the breathers that you need. You identify where you want to land on this journey. You have over 12 seconds, just over 12 seconds. Sort of naturally, when we get to your countdown, you'll bring your hands up together and then you'll bring your thumbs towards the back of your skull. Tricep extension in 5. In 4, you bring your hands together. In 3, 2, and 1. Put your hands together, roll your shoulders back, bend at your elbows. Just enough to maybe feel your thumbs energetically good. Just tickle the back of your skull and then press into your pinky sides with your hands. Yeah. Awesome. Just as always, your whole abdominal structure is secured enough to support your spine. Secured enough without over clenching, right? Because that becomes detrimental. If you got questions about that, hit me up. Hit us up. That's what we're here for. This is the end of your cable arm work. We are heading towards your finish line, your end zone. So when we get to your countdown, you will drop your cables. You'll give your shoulders a nice shimmy, a little jimmy, and then you're at one leg spring, maybe no springs for a challenge. You have less than 12 seconds. You choose what you choose. It is up to you. In 8 seconds, we just meet in a high plank in 5, spring change, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop your cables. 1 light spring, it doesn't matter. Hands hit the front platform, feet are at the 3, high plank hold. And shoulders get a jimmy, hips get a shimmy, sure why not. We finish out with a wheelhouse, nice and simple. Our fade here, you have 10 more seconds. You'll start by hiking your hips up towards the ceiling. In 5, you'll pike your hips. In 3, wheelhouse, 2, and 1. Lift your hips up, soften your knees. Take a pause when you get to your pike, and then keep the carriage, bend your knees down. Yeah, 2, 3, 4, and then bear, press your heels back. Yeah. And then you rinse and repeat, hips hike up. So if you were here in March, good time, not a long time. We are here for a good time, not a long time, I promise you. Countdown is taking you into the plank of your choosing because it's never the wrong time to give planks. We finish strong. We take it home in 12. We will be doing a stretch together after that. You have 8 seconds. Let's finish in your last plank hold. In 4, in 3, 2, and 1. Take whatever plank you choose. You pull your toes towards your wrist. You lift energetically through the back of your hips, and you smile. Last 10 seconds, we let it go into a child's pose. You scooch your toes to the number 6 in 5, in 4, child's pose, 3, 2, and 1. There you go. Let it go. Bring your toes together to the number 6. Set your knees out wide. Bring your hips to your heels. Good. This feels so good that you might start to lift your hips and bring your chest more between your biceps into a bit of a, it's called puppy pose, but you can call it what you want. Relax your shoulders, lengthen your neck. Yeah. Awesome. Cat pose. So start to press into your hands. Pull your shoulders over your wrists. Feel each bone in your vertebra. Pull up. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Keep your left shin on the carriage. Put your right foot on the front platform. Stretch out your psoas, ring, pull your right hip back. Just be mindful that your left hip isn't feeling open too far. Yeah, up to you. Cool, breathe in. Exhale, half split, extend your right leg long, pull your left hip back over your left heel. At your time, no rush. You do you. Just keep your right knee soft. I feel like, at least personally, keeping my right knee on lock gives my hamstrings some more attention. I like that. Switch out, put your right knee on the carriage, put your left foot on the platform, left knee is over your left heel, and then go over your right hip stretch. Hips are funky dunky, so I promise we'll get a little deeper to them in a sec. Take a breath in. Exhale, half split. As it suits you, pull your right hip over your right heel, extend your left leg long. Soften your left knee. I was told that this song is a very Isabelle song, which is flattering to me, so if you want this playlist, let me know. Take a seat on the front platform. When you get there, put your left foot on the floor. Stack your right ankle over your left thigh. See the figure 4. Flex your right toes. Expand your chest, and then pull your chest towards your shin. Yeah. So you're keeping a long spine. Feel that in your outer right knee. And then breathe in. Exhale, switch out. Put your right foot down. Hook your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Flex your left toes. Open up through your air left thigh. Smile your collarbones forward towards your shin. Yeah. Last little bit of stretch here, ragdoll. You'll step both feet to the floor when you feel good. Both feet down, grab opposite elbows. Lift your hips gently. Let your head hang. So if you're looking at Jess, her legs are super straight. If that does not suit you, that's okay. Soften your knees. She's just very stretchy. Cool. Good. Bring your hands towards the floor. Do me a favor, lift up halfway. So drop your hands, expand your chest in a halfway lift. Take a breath in. Lift your hips, exhale into a deeper stretch. just a little bit. Then scooch your feet towards each other. Gently soften your knees. Slowly come up to stand. Rise all the way up. If you'd like to sweep your arms overhead, do it. Otherwise, don't. Bring your hands to your heart. Give yourself a high five. Good. Pat yourself on the back. Thanks for showing up, showing out. If you have questions, ask us, ask me, ask Jess. We're here for you. Together, or anyone else you can surround by.